Let's now have a chat on the story with our SABC reporter Lopang Alamu, who's been at the school since this morning. Lopang, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through. Really, as a day, it has been children traumatized, and you were saying to me off air that, you know, it was that kind of an atmosphere that one would not want to find themselves in.
Definitely, Palisa. You know, when we arrived there, some parents were still coming into the school so confused they looked, and they were trying to figure out, where is my child, trying to gather the pieces as well, trying to find out if their children were involved in all of this or if they were just one of the survivors. The atmosphere was very, very traumatizing. Even just as a reporter, walking in there, seeing so many people sad, seeing so many people conflicted. And we obviously tried to speak to the families of the deceased, but understandably so, they were overcome with emotion, so they wouldn't really speak to us. All they said was they just need some privacy, and they'd like to deal with this as a family for now.
Yeah, no, you can imagine you drop off your child at school in the morning, and the next moment you get a phone call that your child is no more. But Lopang, in terms of the number, there are conflicting reports. Some people saying that it's 3 learners who died, some are saying it's 4.
One emergency services group says it's 4 and the other says it's 3. The MEC and the police have confirmed the number for us. The number that they have taken out is 3 children who've been deceased, 1 being a female and 2 being male. So that's the information that we're getting from the authorities who provided us with that information. But you know, it's very sad because even in terms of the numbers of injuries, some were saying 26, some were saying 21, some were saying 23. We just know it's over 20 who've been taken to various hospitals.
Yeah, and we know, of course, it's still early days to sort of determine what might have happened, but of course we understand that the learners were from assembly, walking to their classes. What did you find?
Well, that's correct, Balisa. I spoke to one of the learners, not on camera obviously, she was still too shocked. She told us how they were now going to their respective classes. It was definitely after assembly, and within a split second, luckily she was walking below, because there are now 2 levels in that school. Some children were walking upstairs and some were walking downstairs going to their classes, and when the slab fell, unfortunately it hit the ground and some children were trapped there, and that's where some of the kids lost their lives, and some fell with the slab from where they were standing upstairs. So you know, it's very difficult to imagine the pain that they were going through. Some of those who survived but are injured, and she says the screams, she can't get it out of her head, and that is why the MEC says a center for trauma counseling has been opened at the school, because you can just imagine you're literally seeing some kids lose their lives in front of you on a normal school day.
But do we know anything, Lopang, in terms of the conditions of those who've been hospitalized?
We just received basic general information that some of the kids were seriously injured, but some sustained minor injuries. Of course, we'll have to do a follow-up to find out how those kids are doing at this point. And the MEC also said the department will be taking care of their financial medical needs. So if any of the children have been taken to private hospitals, then the department will have to pay for those children's medical needs.
But in terms of the investigations, what did MEC Lesufi say?
He said, because it was now declared a crime scene, so the matter has now been officially handed over to the police, and so now there are 2 investigations that we know about at this point: Human Rights Commission and the police investigation. The police investigation, straightforward, to find out exactly what it is that caused the collapse of this structure, and how many people were injured, you know, just the correct figures, and to get to the bottom of the story. And the Human Rights Commission, they say there's a judgment that was handed down in the Eastern Cape last year against the Department of Education, basically stating that the norms and standards of the public schooling infrastructure was not up to standard, and it did not go hand in hand with the Constitution. So therefore, the Human Rights Commission is also saying they want answers. We know the school is 45 years old, and we also know that there were heavy rains last night in the area. So we cannot confirm, however, if those rains played any role in seeing the structure collapse? So those are some of the questions that still need answering from the relevant authorities.
Okay, and I do know that many people were actually asking, why has the area been declared a crime scene, not an accident scene?
Yes, the MEC wouldn't go into detail about that, but just saying that they need to understand exactly what it is that happened. Of course, you know, the less people around a scene, the better, because we saw a lot of community members also trying to get into the school because they're concerned. I mean, this happened just because there are houses literally surrounding the school as well. So a lot of people were trying to get in, trying to find out what is it that happened here today. Are any of the kids that we know involved? Even we know the community pastor also made a turn at the school to find out what it is that happened. So that's why they tried to get people not to come to the school.
All right. So for now, the school remains closed until further notice.
The school remains closed. We were told that they'll make alternative arrangements to see how they will catch up for the syllabus for this term, and we also know that it's only open for those children who have to go to trauma counseling, which will be set up in the school.
All right, Lopang, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for that update.
Pleasure, Palisa.
All right, many thanks there to our SABC reporter Lopang Alamu, of course, who was attending to that tragic incident that happened at one of the high schools in Vanderbijlpark in the Val here in Gauteng. We take a quick